And welcome to another edition of Behind the Uniform. This is where we take you inside the lives of the student athletes, away from the field or court of play where they do their thing. Well, now we give you a chance to see who they are away from what they do, who they are as people. And then at the same time, what we like to do with this platform is help uplift them. Feel like we are, especially me, knowing a lot of these young men and women going back to their high school days, feel like we owe them something. Owe them something to kind of help them out, especially at a time where they're having a lot more resources, a lot more financial resources put in front of them. Well, how do we help them maintain those resources? That's how we came up with the Financial Literacy Bootcamp, which we'll tell you more about a little bit later on in the episode. But I want to thank our great sponsors for helping us with this endeavor, starting off with our friends at Golden Limo, who help you get to your destination on time, every time, whether that's airport transportation, game day transportation, your executive transport, your bus transport, just like Michigan football. They ride on Golden. You can too, with some great opportunities just like this one. If you have ground transportation needs, get to your destination on time, every time with Golden Limo. Their fleet of charter buses, executive sprinters, mid-size vans, party buses, luxury SUVs, and even a trolley, their service and attention to every detail is second to none, and their track record for safety is beyond reproach. Whether you're traveling in Southeast Michigan, throughout the United States, or even abroad, Golden Limo has you covered. And now when you make a reservation with Golden Limo using the Golden Ticket, you'll be supporting Michigan NIL and a great military charity. Golden Limo founder and CEO Sean Duvall has been a great supporter of Michigan NIL, first through his NIL partnership with Will Johnson and his toy drive, and then through Will's Golden Limo NIL ambassadorship. And now in 2024, Sean and Golden Limo are back with an NIL partnership with Zeke Berry. Sean Duvall also comes from a military family and is a passionate supporter of military charities. One of those charities is Freedom River. Freedom River is a comprehensive outdoor recreation center located in Brighton, Michigan that assists in reassimilation of U.S. military service members, veterans, and their families. A portion of your reservation fee will go there, and that's not all. There's one more perk. Once a month, one Golden Ticket reservation will be selected to attend an exclusive party after the season. That party will include Zeke Berry, Samaj Morgan, maybe some other guests. I know it will include the film study crew, Al Borges, Vance Bedford, doing an exclusive film study breakdown in front of the audience that is at that party. It'll have the Dropping Dimes crew with Devin Gardner, Daniel Horton. Maybe it'll include you, but only if you book through Golden Limo using the Golden Ticket once per month. A Golden Ticket reservation will be selected to go to that party with 3 guests, but only if you book your reservation through Golden Limo using the Golden Ticket. All you have to do to book your Golden Ticket reservation is go to goldenlimo.com/golden ticket or call their team at 734-668-8282 and mention Golden Ticket to book your transportation reservations today. But right now, let's welcome in this guest who I've been waiting to have on for a long time. Kenneth Grant. I guess I got to call you by your given name, but KG is what we call you. KG, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, not too bad.
Man, glad that you could join us. It's a great pleasure. It's been a pleasure to see your rise, a pleasure for people to kind of start to see you. Do you kind of feel like people are starting to notice you more? You getting recognized more around town these days?
Yeah, I definitely am. But, I mean, that's what just comes with the sport, work hard, and then all the other stuff comes first, comes second.
We've talked about this before. Like right now, you're one of the top players in the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, you probably were one of the top players in the country coming out of high school, but you weren't ranked that way. Mm-hmm. Was that something that bothered you or motivated you coming out of high school?
Yeah, I sometimes I definitely let it get under my skin, but I just channel that and use it as motivation. Like people are gonna see me. I just gotta work harder, and people are gonna see me.
But you are different physically, so let's be real. Let's be real for us. I want to be real all the time. I was about to say for a second, but I want to be real all the time. Where were you coming into Michigan physically, and where are you now? Kind of compare the kind of shape you were in then to now.
I mean, it's mostly like every other college student. I mean, not college student athlete, but I mean, some college student athletes come in, they're a little out of shape and got to build a little muscle mass and stuff like that. So I was right there. I definitely had like a lot of strength that normal freshmen do and movement that normal freshmen couldn't do, but. I mean, from where I'm at then and now is completely different. Coach Herb and Coach Tress, that's amazing coaching staff. They transformed my body. I wouldn't say even from years now. It was a couple of months where they just transformed my body like that. So, I mean, those guys did really good.
Yeah, man. The play that sticks out to me is crazy. You know where I'm going. You already know what I'm about to say. Because I feel like I'm tweeting about you all the time. I call you a grown-ass man on Twitter.
Hey, I've been reading it, so.
It's like, here go KG with a grown-ass man play again, right? All the time. But, no, it wasn't one of those plays. It was a different play. You were playing Penn State. And was it Kaytron Allen?
Yeah.
I think it was Kaytron Allen got open. And, man, I mean, he saw daylight. He makes a move, and he's out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then KG's out the gate. And, man, the gear that you hit. Now, I don't know if you knew you could run that fast, but you chased him down. You walked him down. Now, they were talking on the TV copy like, oh, that's a great play by Kaytron Allen. I was like, man, what game are y'all? Y'all watching?
Yeah.
This was a great play by a 330-pound defensive tackle.
Probably a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
Walking them down. So you take me through what you saw on that play.
On that play, I mean, I knew he's gonna hit the hole because I saw like I wasn't directly in the play, but the hole was like to the right of me, so I saw the hole. It was pretty big. I knew he was gonna hit it, so I knew I wasn't gonna make it. So I kind of like tried to push Mike Berry to make the tackle, but he ended up falling a little bit, and then I just like got on my horse and chased him down.
So when you made the play, sometimes things happen, and it takes a minute for everybody to realize what just happened, right? And you look, they got a first down, so you got to play the next play.
Mm-hmm.
But how long was it before somebody was like, "Hey, man," like, "Man, what was that?" How long was it before somebody did that?
Probably literally when we got to the sideline after that drive, people were like, "Damn, like you hawked him down." I was like, I can't see it like that. I was just playing.
Hey, man, I guarantee you, on draft night, I wish I could put some money on the table to place a bet.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's gonna be on your tape.
Yeah.
100%. They will play that clip.
That's like the 100th time I heard that.
Like, that is gonna be on the tape.
I believe it's true.
Because it's one of the most impressive plays of the season. I mean, to see you run that fast, it made me wonder, like, do they even test you in the 40?
Nah, not really. It's like one of the first baseline things we do. Like, we come in as a freshman, but big guys don't.
So you won't run a 40 time-wise until it's getting ready to combine. I hear you. So, yeah, it's not like you're doing that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you know you can.
Yeah. and we harp on that in practice, though, like getting to the ball and effort and stuff like that. Like.
Yeah, so there were moments, there were KG moments. I think I had one in the Maryland game. It was like, this is the KG drive, where it's like you snuffed out the drive yourself, man. You were making play after play after play. It feels like there are these moments where you get in the zone, and I'm curious, what kind of, do you feel that? Are you feeling those moments where you're dominating, or do you just feel like that all the time?
Yeah, I try to feel like that all the time, but it's certain plays and situations where stuff just doesn't go your way. So, I mean, you got to figure something new out. But, I mean, it's just like me and Mason Graham, like during that Maryland game, we were like, we want this game on us. Like, you can see he had a sack in that game, but, like, we wanted that game on us. Like, we, like, put us in the game, like, we're going to stop the game. So, I mean, that's just the trust of the coaching staff and to the players that it's just there that we can go out there and do that.
Yeah, and so, that wasn't the only game that was put on you. I mean, it started being more games put on you. The deeper you went, certainly Ohio State, you had to make plays against the Buckeyes for sure. But, man, I keep thinking about that Rose Bowl.
Historical.
Right?
Yeah.
And I asked Mason this before you came in. Everybody was talking about Bama's defensive line. That was Bama this and Bama that, and they have this guy and they have that guy. And I was like, I remember being on, it might have been the Fine Bomb show. I was like, hey, Michigan has dogs too. Why isn't anyone talking about Michigan's defensive line? And so was that something that you were hearing as well? Or I always wonder how much do you let that play into your psyche? Because you can let it distract you or you can let it motivate you. Does it do any of that for you?
Yeah, it definitely motivates me, but like you said, it can also distract some people at the same time. But me, I use it as motivation of trying to all right, I gotta really lock in now. I gotta hone into every little detail to really come out on top and win the game.
So can you tell when you're in the heads of an offensive line or an offensive lineman? Can you sense it?
Yeah, they start getting a little angrier, take a couple cheap shots in here and there, but I mean, that's the trenches for you.
So, were you in the heads of the Bama offensive line that game?
Yeah, at first they came out talking a lot, but then once those 5 sacks in the first half, they didn't talk really in the second half.
Yeah. Talking a lot and then bouncing a couple snaps.
Yeah.
They bounced a couple snaps back, dribbled them back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll make you be quiet.
He
didn't say that. I said that. He didn't say that. I'm just, throwing that out there. Yeah. But it was, to me, as dominant as that effort was, you didn't have as many sacks in the Washington game. But in terms of being in the head of the opposition, because look, I got to give Jalen Milroe credit. He did everything he could do. He was, y'all abused that man.
Yeah.
And he kept getting back up, making plays. Michael Penix, great player. Didn't want that smoke. Because you guys got in his head and never got out of it. To the point where he has wide open receivers and he's missing them. So could you see that on the field? Oh man, we're definitely in his head. Could you notice that?
Yeah, definitely. You could see it. It trickles down to the offensive lineman, to the quarterback. Once the offensive linemen start being a little wary and stuff, you could tell the quarterback's going to be a little wary and stuff too. So you could definitely tell the change in momentum and feelings.
Yeah, there was a play where you come off the ball, and it was man, I was it wasn't even fair, KG. Wasn't even fair what you did to this. And I know you in the moment when you ragdoll a dude or you steamroll a guy, you gotta know that he's feeling in a certain kind of way. I cannot handle him. So after that, but you know the play I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell after that play? About to be a long day for young fellow over here.
Yeah, I could definitely tell.
I wish we could put clips. Just take my word for it. KG obliterates a Washington offensive lineman on the way to the quarterback, and it was curtains after that. The irony is, and Mason brought it up, I think that was the only sack in the game.
Yep. That
was the only sack in that game, and yet you guys harassed Michael Penix to the point where I thought that Jalen Milroe played a better game against you guys. And yet you sacked Jalen Milroe way more. So it's not always about the number of sacks.
Yeah, definitely. It goes into the preparation we put into the game. Coaches putting us in the right positions. You said we didn't I had the only sack of the night, but it was a lot more QB hits and QB hurries. So he was definitely seeing different stuff coming from different places. So it's just, if you get a QB off his game, it's definitely gonna be a good day.
Yeah, it felt like the season built for you. You were making plays all year. Like you said, you see me on Twitter. I'm always shouting it out. But I felt like I was doing it more toward the end of the season. Was that because you were just getting more snaps? Was that just because you were just getting better? What would you attribute that to?
I attribute that to both of those things. I was definitely getting more snaps, but you got to kind of get accustomed to, that was really I wouldn't say my first time playing, but one of my first times really playing a lot of snaps in the game. So you definitely got to get accustomed to that and just, get accustomed to it and fill it out.
So there's that moment though, you reach the mountaintop. I'm going to describe it to you the same way I described it to Mason. You reach the mountaintop. You guys win the national championship. You overcome every adversity they put in front of you, right? and then Coach Harbaugh leaves, which seemed likely.
Yeah.
Coach Mentor leaves, which seemed likely, but Coach Elston leaves. That kind of seemed a little more of a surprise, and Coach Herb leaves, and that seems like a big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So how did all of that hit you? Did it shake you at all? Did it affect your thinking about your future at all? How did all of that kind of affect your thought process?
Yeah, it definitely shook me. I mean, it got me thinking about my future and what was the best opportunity for me. But I mean, just at that time, I mean, it was looking at the coaches. I mean, it was the same thing. You know, it was for their future and what goals they wanted to reach and stuff like that. So I mean, once I came into that, the Michigan family, it was like it was really a family. So I mean, I can't really be mad at them for doing that because it's their life, their goals and aspirations. So I mean, it's a tough loss, but they're trying to go places too. So you can't really harp on them too much for that.
Yeah. So Colston was the first one to mention. He said so. We had the main guys, like the big time guys who had a chance to come back, but clearly had offers on the table from all these other schools.
Yeah.
Colston was like, bro.
Yeah. Crazy world.
Hey, man, it was real out here.
Yeah.
You know, so he said, you know, we got together.
Yeah.
Rod was like, yeah, that was my meeting. I called that meeting, like, let's get together and talk about what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he said everybody was hearing something, getting offers from here and there. He said, I felt like we need to get in the room and talk about, hey, what are you really thinking?
Yeah.
And so I wonder for you specifically, how impactful in the grand scheme of things was that particular meeting and what you ultimately decided to do?
For me, it was pivotal, I guess. I mean, you could say that, but it was definitely pivotal because, I mean, it was all the guys there. I mean, how could you say no to all the guys? You know, we built this up from the ground. So, I mean, it was just like, we might as well finish what we started, no matter, I mean, our skill is our skill, so it don't matter what coach comes in here. I mean, we're always going to be who we are and what we built up. So, I mean, just knowing that, it made me definitely feel comfortable just staying here at Michigan. So,
yeah, but there's the dollars and cents of it too, though, right?
Yeah.
Because all the guys have made it very clear. There was a before the, how did Rod say? He said there was a before the Natty, and now there's after the Natty. All right, and these are not the same. These are not the same circumstances. Some things had to change, and as Colston said, he said some things did change. So he shouted out a champion circle, the donors that fund champion circle.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Michigan collective space really stepped up in a way that was on par with what you guys we're seeing or hearing elsewhere. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to all those guys, for real. But I mean, yeah, I would say they definitely developed in the NIL. That's what I was worried about, just developing the NIL and getting my name out there and stuff. So they definitely did a great job on that, and shout out to them for that.
Yeah, man, it's real. But it gets back to that whole brotherhood piece, because at the time when you guys made that decision, you taking a leap. That's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Like none of that was on the table at that at that time when you guys decide you're gonna stay. It's like you're just leaning on one another, and it's striking to me to hear you guys all say the same thing, because that's real brotherhood.
Yeah.
You know, Makari kind of talked about that in a different context, but he said we have real brotherhood, and the only when you really see it is when you have to sacrifice something. And so you guys had to take a risk to stay together. I mean, you're risking some real money to stay together in that instance, right?
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, it's definitely a real brotherhood because, I mean, I see these guys outside of football every day. I mean, it doesn't matter what we're doing. If we're just, like, going to get something to eat around town, like, I'll pass by somebody. So it's just, like, it's a real brotherhood. Like, some of these guys I'll probably invite to my wedding. So.
Yeah, I hear that, man. So the other piece, the NIL had to be right, and then I know you want to know who's going to coach you. And so Mason mentioned that Coach Moore, once he got the job, he was making it a point to involve you and Mason and hey, this is who I'm thinking about, this is who I'm talking to, kind of involving you guys in at least keeping you guys aware of who he's talking to. How big was that?
Yeah, it was pretty big. I mean, just the transparency he had and just how he wanted the best for us was really showing that like he actually really cared, and you know, he put his head coaching duty hat on. I mean, like you said, he was updating us. He was calling us about 2-3 times a day. I mean, just updating us about who he's thinking about and making sure it was okay with us. So I mean, when he say it's a player-led team, it really is, because he looks to his players first.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And hey, it paid off because you guys stayed put, and the brotherhood stayed intact. Speaking of staying intact, we want your finances to stay intact.
Oh yeah,
KG, and not just your current finances, but your future finances as well.
Definitely.
And so we want to do our small part in helping prepare you for that process, and that's why we are going to segue into the financial literacy bootcamp. So this is the portion of the show where this is the give back portion. We engaged some of our partners here, starting off with our friends at the University of Michigan Credit Union. I sort of think of it as like a building, you know, sort of helping the fellas and young women. We're going to have some female student athletes on the platform eventually as well, helping them establish a foundation, right, of financial wellness and education that they can build upon. And our friends at the University of Michigan Credit Union were uniquely equipped to help set that foundation with their Playbook for Prosperity.
Which one resonates more? Okay, and you probably heard this first one. Kenneth, spender or saver?
Saver.
I love that smile.
Look at his
Saver.
shirt, though. I
Here
don't
we go. I
believe you.
love
Saver.
that smile.
Nah, I don't.
Spender or saver?
I'm a saver.
Okay.
It might not look like it, but
Yeah.
Right.
Saver.
Of course, it's situational, right? Are you more of a worrier or more confident with your finances? Kenneth, I'll start with you.
think
Worrier
I'm-
or confident?
I think I'm confident.
Confident, good.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Gio?
Confident for sure.
Yeah. Kenneth, how about you? Sort of what, do you have a more of a formal plan, or do you just like, I'm just going to make sure I do well this week, this month?
I'll tell you.
Montclair on the spreadsheet.
Nah, I'll probably say I keep it up in my head, mental, but
Okay.
definitely like put my priorities first, like Gio said, like rent and gas and stuff like that. So just put the priorities first, and then
Yeah.
you know, be smart with what I'm spending on back end.
So KG, you made it over to UMCU and spent some time with the folks over there. So what were some of your big takeaways from your time with the University of Michigan Credit Union?
They definitely harped on. We play like a little credit score game, or who could buy a car. And I obviously had the highest credit score, but yeah, I got the car. But they definitely like feel my inside of how credit scores work and how if you don't pay it off, it goes down like crazy amount. So I mean, just they did a really good job over there. So I really appreciate it.
You know what I found, and we got to remember, like, and this is why I think this is so important. You know, how old are you? 20?
Yep.
20 years old, man. Now, by the time I was 20, I think I had 3 or 4 credit cards, which is not the way to do it, right? That's not what you're supposed to do, right? But KG, we were talking before we came on. You just got your first credit card, right?
Yeah, not too long ago.
That's actually a better way to do it. Like, don't have a bunch of lines of credit, but, and it sounds like this was a message that kind of came across during your time at UMCU. You do need to start establishing some credit history.
Yeah.
And so you had just got a credit card before you went over there.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely good to start building now, so you won't have to, I wouldn't say worry about the future, but it's less stress and harp on the future. And you could buy like certain things like good. Have a good credit score. You could buy a car. You could buy a house. Because I mean, most 20-year-olds right now don't have a crazy amount of money, but where they could buy that stuff. But I mean, if you start now, then it'll play out for your future.
Yeah, man. And so you hadn't, when you visited UMCU, you hadn't even used your credit card yet.
Nope. Nope.
So have you used it to this point?
No, but I'm planning on using it during camp and stuff. You know,
Okay.
just a little gas mileage and here and
Yeah.
there and stuff like that.
Charge and then pay it right off.
Yeah.
That's all. That's a great tool right there. If you take nothing else from those lessons, you took that. But I know you took so much more. So many great tools, savings.
Oh yeah.
I know they harp on that a whole lot. Budgeting.
Mhm.
I know they talked a lot about that as well. The Playbook for Prosperity doesn't just apply to student athletes. I know University of Michigan Credit Union for years. They have a whole sort of initiative that's dedicated towards helping young people get used to banking, get used to saving, and writing checks, and building accounts. And this is a logical extension of that. That hopefully, KG, you can help. Not just teammates, but guys from other teams as well.
Mhm.
This is something that's hitting a lot of student athletes really hard right now. They get this money, and next thing you know, end of the day,
Yeah.
out tomorrow. With a lot of these, I don't know if you talked to your man Gio, because he was like, a lot of us aren't smart with our money.
Uh-huh.
It's like, okay, this is what we're gonna help. We're gonna change that. We're gonna turn that process around. So, Financial Literacy Bootcamp is helping with that, as is the University of Michigan Credit Union's Playbook for Prosperity. All right, so if we take that foundation that we have from the University of Michigan Credit Union and build on it to start growing that wealth, that's where our friends at Morgan Stanley come in to kind of help with the investments. And so what have you taken from your time with Morgan Stanley?
What I've taken from them is they definitely help me save my money and put it in places where it needs to be, not only for right now, but put me in places for the future. And I've been talking to them. We've been talking about taxes and stuff. They help me with literacy and taxes and stuff, so I kind of know how it works now and stuff like that. But it's been pretty good with them.
So the whole tax thing, I mean, I know when I first started talking to a lot of you guys about NIL,
Mm-hmm.
that first run, dudes were
Yeah.
getting hit hard with the whole tax thing. I mean, tax side
Yeah.
came and they was like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't setting aside that tax money. Did you get hit like that, or were you prepared?
Yeah, I kind of got hit like that, but I was also kind of prepared because I'm a type of person where I don't really spend a lot of money through a period of time, so I kind of like spend here and there and just kind of save and stuff like that.
So you're in much better shape now through working with Morgan Stanley. Have you already? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Have you already started putting money away?
Yup.
Now I'm not just talking about just to pay taxes.
Oh, savings.
So yeah, to start growing money for your future. Have you already started doing that?
Yo, I just started. I put a chunk of money in there like last week. It was my first one.
My man KG. See, we got to put that on tape so your teammates can see it. Rod, I'm just saying. Let's throw it out there. Let's start putting it down now. Start growing those finances now, so you have them for the future. That is what we are trying to do and trying to encourage. I know friends at Morgan Stanley and Dave Hemmick are helping with that as well. But spread the word. That's the other piece. Helping teammates with that, helping other student athletes with that, helping young people in general with that is a big part of what we're trying to do. And that's what the Financial Literacy Bootcamp is all about. So KG, now you are embarking upon a season which could be your last at Michigan. I wonder if you find it at all ironic that after you guys overcame all of those odds last year, they put your coach on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
JJ's banged up at the end of the season, right? Ohio State comes in. They got all their weapons,
Yeah.
right? They have their coach, so they're favored. You play Bama. Bama is the best. They got Nick Saban, and they got this great team. They're favored, right? You overcome all those odds. You win a national championship. Now you come back this year. Yeah, Coach Harbaugh's gone. Coach Minter's gone. You lost a lot. JJ's gone. But it's like, didn't you guys just see us overcome all these odds last year? And nobody thinks we're contenders? Nobody thinks we can win it? Do you guys hear that this year?
Yeah, we definitely hear it. We see it on social media and stuff. But I mean, that's just for likes and views and all that stuff. But I mean, it's just the culture hasn't changed at all. You know, it's the same guys doing the same things. You know, being a team, because we know the guys that played last year. We know what it takes to go to do that and win the championship, and not even just to win the championship, but the losses before that. And all the losses, you know, you learn how to perfect stuff like that, perfect the small details, so you can go 15-0. So I mean, just the new leaders that's stepping into new leadership roles this year, we have to be vocal leaders. You know, be you know, show by action and not by words. You gotta let the young guys see what we're doing and stuff like that. So
I got you. All right, so let's talk about your preparation for this season. How, if at all, is it different than last year? I imagine you had to step it up this off season. So where have you stepped it up? How have you stepped it up? What has your off season preparation been like?
Really just being more on a diet, I would say. A good lean diet, vegetables and stuff like that. But also getting accustomed to, you know, I'm about to be playing more snaps and possibly be a starter and stuff like that. So, I mean, you definitely just have to get in shape. And, you know, we had our conditioning test, so I passed it again. So that's always good. But, I mean, just, I would say, you know, the diet, conditioning, and, like I said, leadership role, stepping into those new shoes and trying to fill them.
All right, so you say more snaps. Toward the end of the season, I want to say, what was it, 40 to 50 snaps?
Yeah.
Compared to early in the season, what was it, like 25 or 30? So what's the snap threshold? What's the sweet spot? I mean, do you think it's like 40 or 50 per game? Do you think it's more than that? Where do you think it is this year?
Yeah, I think it's more like, I say 50 to 60, but I mean, at the D tackle position, it's the more snaps you get, the more wear and tear you get, because we're in the trenches. You always are bound to get banged up and stuff. So, I mean, just that, I think that sweet spot is 50, 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's a different kind of conditioning, right? To be able to play snap 60 like you played snap 10.
Yeah.
You feel like you're there?
Yeah, I feel like I'm there. I started to get more and more in that shape towards the end of last season, but just building out what I built out last season, just trying to build extra on top of that this season is pivotal.
Okay, so what about your toolkit? That's the science. Like, great players get the science of taking care of their bodies right. That's kind of the difference for a lot of guys. But then there's the toolkit. There's the technique. Like, so where did you go to kind of sharpen that piece of it? Or were you around here working on your craft? Did you travel different places? Like, what did you do to work on that piece of it?
Yeah, I'm not, I travel a lot, but I'm not really a big traveler guy. I like to stay set. I mostly just work on my own, to be honest, do my own drills. You know, sometimes some of the like D-line coaches post videos of them doing drills and stuff, so I'll go out there and do that on my own. But I mean, I'm pretty low key and just like to train on my own. And yeah.
Yeah, because I look at you and you wonder what the next level is, and it feels like to me we saw that Washington game. Like, if you can do that every game, oh man. I mean, it's again. I know you got to do it one game at a time.
Yeah.
But that's if you can do that, that's like national championship again.
Yeah.
If you can do that, I don't know if you allow yourself to think like that, but
no, I definitely agree. I mean, just working on my pass rush, and I mean, it really all comes down to preparation. I was watching like a little podcast with LeBron and JJ Redick, and JJ asked him like, what was the single most thing that made you who you are today? And LeBron said preparation. So, I mean, just taking that piece and just trying to really implement into my game is pivotal, because he's one of the greats. I mean, he is the great.
I got you. So, man, the bond you have with Mason, I mean, it's like I called you guys peanut butter and jelly. It's like, if one isn't getting off, the other is. Most of the time, both of you guys are doing your thing, but you guys seem like that's your guy. At least on the field, it seems that way. It seems like you guys are super close. What about the bond you two have?
Yeah, we have a pretty close bond. I mean, it was the summer before we came to Michigan. We were on a recruiting visit, and he had like a buzz cut or whatever, and I had a buzz cut or whatever, and we was just like who is this guy? We were on the bus, we were like, who is this guy? And it turns out a couple of years later, we're one of the 2 best D tackles. But I mean, I just see him every day. He's been my roommate for everything since that moment in the summer of recruiting. So I mean, it's been pretty good. I call him my brother. Probably be one of my best men at my wedding. So
yeah. So it's you guys are really similar in, you kind of low key.
Mm-hmm.
Not in how you play, but I'm just personality wise kind of low key. And so I imagine the challenge is similar for you when it comes to being more vocal.
Mm-hmm.
He admitted that's not really me, right? But I know it has to be me now, at least more. I imagine the same is for you. What about that piece of it? How challenging is it? And do you have to focus on it, or is it coming easy?
I'll say both. You have to focus on it, but it's always a certain time and place for different type of things and different type of leadership, I mean, sometimes you be vocal, but sometimes you lead by action. But I mean, like you said, being vocal is definitely more challenging because you have to talk in front of a big old group that's just staring at you and looking at you and trying to like depict every word of you. But I mean, it's been pretty smooth because I mean, all the guys in there, they respect us. They lean towards us for certain things, and I mean, they want help. I mean, we're trying to train all of our young guys to be leaders. So
yeah, I mean, look, you check your tape. You got the resume.
Yeah.
Like when you do what you do, you can talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But who have you seen kind of stepping up? You expect yourself to step up. You expect Mason to step up, but you've kind of been in through spring ball over the course of the summer. You see leadership emerging. Who are those voices on the team that you're starting to hear and see resonate with the rest of the squad?
I'll say Alex, Makari. I mean, those guys are already leaders, but they're taking the vocal to another standard. You should have heard Alex's speech the other day after Raven. It's pretty intense.
What was he talking? Give me the message. Give me the keys.
Yeah, the key was
because Alex, by the way, was on the platform. So give me Alex's speech.
Yeah, well, I can't give you the whole
PG
thing.
version.
Yeah, PG version. It was basically just telling us to lock into the small details and what other programs are doing to beat us and stuff like that. So we just really got to lock into things.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And so it's real. When you lose voices like Mikey, that void will always be filled. And so who's going to fill that void? That's the kind of thing that I wonder about. Another thing that I wonder about on this team, I have no doubt you guys are going to be really, really good. You're going to be one of the best defenses in the country, just like you were last year. But Colston Loveland sat in that seat. Giovanni Ohadi sat in that seat. 2 offensive guys. Alex Orji sat in that seat. And all 3 of those offensive guys sat here and said, we think this defense can be better than last year's defense. Not as good as, because to me, saying it's as good as is not a concession. You guys were an elite defense last year. That's not taking a short. That's not being a slight to say, yeah, we're going to be just as good as we were last year. But that's not what they said. They said, we think they could be better. All right, so KG, you're on the defense. How can this defense be better than the one that won the national championship last year?
I mean, it's no how. It's just we have to do it. I mean, we filled the places we need to fill. I mean, a lot of guys that's filling positions where they didn't play last year, or just new positions that seniors left and stuff for the NFL. They've been doing it. I mean, there's no drop off. I mean, it's just everywhere. I mean, it's guys like me, like you said, like late bloomers, like how you said, how I really got exposure last season. I mean, some of those guys in those spots are really gonna get a lot of exposure this season because it's just like the time and place of everything. They got the talent, but it's just you have to go out there and do it. So
give me some guys from your perspective, not to put pressure on them, but game recognizes game. You're a player and you're with these guys. Who do you see as guys that you think, hey man, I really think this guy's poised to break out, to take a step this year?
Well, we'll start with the edges. Josiah and D-Moore, they're gonna wreak some havoc on the edges this year, but start again with the linebackers. I say Ern and Jay Sean. That's gonna be a great duo. Jay Sean is gonna make a name for himself this year. So is Ern. Because I mean, just all around, there's snaps. Like people have snaps and stuff. They just gotta now they're starting and gonna play a lot more. But along with that, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean,
those are starting guys though. I guess I assume that Josiah and Derek, like I know they're gonna step forward. I mean, Josiah bench press the first round pick. Like, come on, man. Like I know he's gonna ball. I know Derek Moore's gonna ball. But last year, you had got like coming off the bench, KG, right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You had dogs coming off the bench that could wreck games. So depth was part of what made you guys so special. So who depth-wise behind the starters do you think are poised to really step up and do their thing?
I'll say TJ Guy, another one of the edges, provide depth there. But Enoeta, he's going to be really good. He made the transition from edge to 3-tech, put on a lot of weight. He's touching 3 bills now, so that's good.
Okay.
But, yeah, he's going to do really good. Yeah,
Okay.
Trey Pierce, another one at the nose guard. I'll say Cam Brent, another one at the edge. Cole Sullivan at the linebacker, I like him.
Even as a young fella.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot of buzz, making plays in spring practice. So, I mean, yeah, those guys are gonna do real good.
Okay, hey man, well that's them. If it winds up being Kenneth Grant doing his thing at a national championship level, that alone might take this whole defense to another level. Not to put too much pressure on you, young fella, but it's exciting. It's exciting to really see what's on the horizon for you. Made so much great progress. I'd be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to talk about all the people that help you get here. Because man, I sense from your circle you had a lot of great support in your rise to this point. So how about you get a chance to shout them out a little bit?
Thank you to all my family back home, all my coaches back home, back there in Gary, Maryville, Indiana. I thank Lord and Jesus, my Christ Savior. And yeah, just that's it.
Yeah, man. It's, a lot of teams, a lot of pundits writing Michigan off as not just a national championship contender, but a Big Ten championship contender, which seems crazy to say. But you guys had the tools. You had the tools, and sounds like you had the leadership. Certainly had a brotherhood still to get it done. So, KG, appreciate you taking time with us, man. I've been waiting for this a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks a lot for making the time on the eve of camp. This man has to get ready to pack up to go to the hotel. He made time to make it over here to be on Behind the Uniform. So I appreciate that, man.
I appreciate you for having me.
All right, thanks a lot. That'll do it for this episode of Behind the Uniform. We appreciate you watching the entire season. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. You can catch all the episodes on our YouTube channel. Of course, I want to thank our great sponsors, starting off with our presenting sponsor at Golden Limo. They get you to your destination on time, every time. Don't miss out on the great options available to you with Golden Limo, whether it's airport transport, game day transport, executive transport. Hey, maybe you need large party transport like buses or sprinters. They have all of your transportation needs covered, whether it's in Southeast Michigan, nationally, or abroad. Golden Limo will get you there on time, every time. You can find them at goldenlimo.com. If you have ground transportation needs, get to your destination on time, every time with Golden Limo. Ride like the Wolverines. Feel like a Wolverine when you ride with Golden Limo, the proud transportation partner for many of Michigan's sports teams and the primary transportation provider for Michigan Wolverines football. All you have to do to book your golden ticket reservation is go to goldenlimo.com/golden ticket or call their team at 734-668-8282 and mention Golden Ticket to book your transportation reservations today. And of course, our supporters for the Financial Literacy Bootcamp, the University of Michigan Credit Union, and all that they do with the Playbook for Prosperity, and of course, our friends at Morgan Stanley. We appreciate them all. Thanks for watching another edition of Behind the Uniform.